Okay, Lois Roberts in Lismore in 1998. Um, no, I didn't know them, and uh, it was the school holidays, and I'd gone down to Bathurst to visit family. Me and my daughter went down on the train. Had to go to Sydney, transfer over, go to Bathurst, and my mum picked me up. Um, and he stayed in Lismore. Um, so he ended up getting his inheritance from his father's death. That was the funeral that we went to in Brewarrina. And we'd come back before school. Like, he'd come down, drove down in that new car, and a white Mitsubishi Magna, and picked us up, and had a brand new puppy, and said, she was our combined birthday presents. So we've come back before school, and usually, like when school starts, her birthday is. So we've come back, and I'm catching up on the washing before school starts, washing a uniform and all that stuff, and the stuff that, from being on holiday. And I'm overhearing a conversation of him talking to one of the other alleged serial killers and saying that they're the chosen ones and all this. And I mean, I thought it was hilarious and made fun of it. But apparently that other alleged person was then in Lismore. I mean, the man made my blood crawl. So, yeah. And he was out at the Bruxner Caravan Park. I mean, he was there for a certain period of time before we got back. But he did go to another caravan park, and I'm not sure if it was somewhere else in Lismore or if it was out in Nimbin. I'm not sure which caravan park he was at. Okay, so my daughter's gone back to school, and the next weekends come around, and for her, birthday celebration, we've gone for a drive out to Protesters Falls, out near the Channon. And my ex and my daughter walked around to the cliff face where, the waterfall was, and he's looking in holes. He's looking, as if he's looking for something, and he's sticking his arm, this is on the cliff face, and he's sticking his arm in these holes to see how far back and all that stuff. And my daughter's walked back around, and he's dived into the water and swum across. And I'm like, what were you looking for? He said, oh, no, I'm just checking something out. And I said, what? He goes, oh, I was just saying, what they were and, what they were like. Okay, remember that. Okay, so that's that weekend. Go the next weekend, Friday, which is the 30th. That morning, he's taken off. I've took my daughter to school, and I've come back, stopped at the shop, got something for morning tea, come back, set up on the table and start doing artwork. And I'm drawing this picture of Cannibal Falls, Woman's Ground at Lismore. And I've never been there, never got there to see it. Even though he tried to go there, but every time we drove up that section, the car would break down, we'd roll back. He'd try it again, it'd break down, we'd roll back. So, it's woman's ground, he wasn't meant to go on it. It's funny how her body was found out in that direction. So, he's brought Lois Roberts back, and lovely, beautiful person. It's the first time I've met her, that's the only time I met her. And we're chatting away, and he's making her tell me about the PDF file ring and, and everything she's doing, and the big court case, and she's mentioning, judges and barristers and lawyers and doctors and priests and teachers. She's rattling off all, like how huge it is and all that. And I'm like, oh my God. She'd just come from, I think, up near Gunnellabar. I wasn't sure if it was Lismore or Gunnellabar that she said that she'd come from this, they were doing art. It was an art thing, designing a new, like an Aboriginal flag. There was a competition on at the time. So she had these 3 drawings, and she's showing me, and I'm like, oh, they're beautiful. And she's asking me how old my daughter was, and I said, oh, she just had a birthday not long ago. Oh, and she wrote my daughter's name down one picture, and she said, oh, this is a belated birthday present for your daughter. I'm like, oh, lovely, beautiful, thank you. And she had the other ones in a plastic bag, and she said, oh, sis, can you mind these for me, and I'll come back in a couple of weeks and pick them up. She said, can you keep them safe? And I'm like, yeah, no worries. I said, I'll keep them safe. Well, I've still got those drawings, and they'll have mine, hers, my ex's fingerprints on them. I think in a couple of my girls touched them, so there'll be a couple of their fingerprints on them. I kept them safe. I even hid them from him, and I never let him know where I hid them. And like, I kept moving them. I just had a feeling. I do have abilities, and obviously the universe was working in with this. She gave me these drawings, but she never came back. So he's taken her out to Nimbin, and and we're walking up the hallway to the front door, and she's like, oh, you'll pick me up in the afternoon, he said, yeah, I'll pick you up, I'll meet you here, blah blah blah, and I'll pick you up and bring you back, and drop you back off in Lismore. So that happened. She never came back, and over, I think it was over a year later, 10 months or something like that, and her body was found out the forest on the way to Tunnable Falls. Her body was found. Her HEAD has never been found, which makes me think Protesters Falls, and it was the weekend before, and it looked like he was looking for something. Was he looking in the crevices and holes in the cliff face to hide that? I mean, that thought is crossing my mind. I can't be 100% sure, because no one will help me. I mean, I don't have a car, otherwise I'd be there checking myself. I've been dealing with, 2 cancers and all these other massive, pericarditis, all these massive, from not the C one, the flu one and swine flu one, 2007 and 2010, and that's how I ended up with the neurological disorder and all my memories being wiped. They started coming back in 2019, but these memories only started in roughly June 2023. I mean, I know the exact date, but it was just before my birthday. So yeah, I mean, this has broken me. Like, you can't comprehend this stuff. You can't. I mean, there's many of times I've dropped to my knees over this stuff, and while dealing with this huge gang stalking, like, I just want to help these families. I mean, there's a possibility that, I might know where some of these missing loved ones are. But I don't know, because no one's ever checked, no one's ever listened to me, no one's believed me. I've been slandered, attacked, abused. It's been horrific. I don't know how I got through it, but I did. It's time for the truth to come out. People need to know this. Like, I've tried to contact Louise's family, but I mean, I've had no success. I've sent them messages, but they've not read them, or they've not responded. So, I mean, what can I do? This is what I'm doing.